Today I have reached the decision about Chief LeRonne Armstrong's future with the department. I believe strongly in the future of Oakland. Our police department has made great strides over the years to be fair to Oakland residents and its own officers. But there is so much more to be done and to do. And my job is to make absolutely sure that we continue our progress. This investigation began last year under the previous administration. As I came to this decision, I had two major considerations in mind. First, that we appropriately address the findings of the independent investigation. Second, that we in Oakland continue our work in reforming our police department, not by checking boxes, but by instilling a culture of integrity and fairness at every level. Oakland needs a police department that welcomes opportunities for improvement rather than immediately rejecting criticism. And I made a commitment as your mayor to ensure the police department and the city can prove once and for all that Oakland is ready to ensure constitutional policing without federal oversight. Within days of being notified that the city needed time to carefully review the findings and evidence in these very serious cases, Chief Armstrong made a number of statements that troubled me. In response to a public report that concluded that OPD had repeatedly failed to rigorously investigate misconduct and hold officers accountable, Chief Armstrong said these were not incidents where officers behaved poorly. He stated that he did not believe these incidents reflected systemic problems. Instead, Chief Armstrong described the underlying incident as a minor vehicle collision. He said the officers made mistakes. He publicly stated that the sergeant involved in a vehicle collision was held accountable, disregarding the independent investigators' findings of serious flaws in the disciplinary process. I've taken the time to review the cases and consider the evidence and conclusions as to each of the subject officers, including Chief Armstrong. Publicly discussing the merits of these discipline cases would be highly inappropriate. But I can say that it is clear to me that there are systemic issues and the city needs to address them, and that we cannot simply write them off as mistakes. The federal judge overseeing the city said that he was profoundly disappointed in the evidence he'd seen and that the report demonstrates significant cultural problems in the department. The federal monitor determined there were systemic issues serious enough to render the department out of compliance with an important requirement of the negotiated settlement agreement. And I personally believe this report shows the absolute necessity of continued reforms to address the issues that have come to light. And as Oakland continues to improve its police department, we must be confident that our chief will be effective in making sustainable improvements that can be recognized by the federal monitor, the federal court, and the people of Oakland. Oakland is committed to reform, not simply because of the conditions of the NSA, but because it is the right thing to do. I also want to add that I've had the pleasure to work beside so many fine OPD officers. These officers serve the public trust, and I've seen them work extremely hard to maintain and build this trust. They are asked to serve our city with integrity, and they show up and they do it every day. Oakland's leadership must live up to the standards we set for those officers. In order to finally bring an end to Oakland's federal oversight and not risk the investments we've made for over 20 years. It's an absolute requirement that my administration, including the Chief of Police, be able to work closely with the monitoring team and to speak credibly before the court. Chief Armstrong has my respect and appreciation for his service to the department and to the city that he grew up in and that he clearly loves dearly. And he will continue to have my respect and appreciation. But I am no longer confident that Chief Armstrong can do the work needed to achieve the vision. So today, I have decided to separate from Chief LeRonne Armstrong from the city without cause. This was not an easy decision, but it's one I believe is necessary for that progress to continue. It's precisely because I admire Chief Armstrong that this has been personally very difficult. But this process has reinforced my commitment to making decisions based on the best interests of the department and the city of Oakland, and not based on personal feelings or relationships. Even the decision to place Chief Armstrong on paid administrative leave was difficult. I did not make that decision because I had prejudged the outcome. Instead, I did in order to keep an open mind. I've now had time to weigh the information. I'm sharing my thought process because I want to be as transparent as possible. I realize this means that the Police Commission and I now have a difficult task of finding the police department's next leader and role model, and I look forward to working with them. I know that they share my commitment to seeking a diverse and experienced pool of applicants and to finding candidates who are committed to reform and who have demonstrated the ability to improve community police relationships. I also believe true reform does not stop with accountability only. So we must also work to reform the systems that have failed, and that is something my administration will focus on in the coming weeks and months. I'm available for a few questions.
So I'll moderate the questions one at a time. We'll stay as long as everyone has questions, so there's no rush and no need to panic. We'll start down here at the front.
I'm Keith Burbank with Bay City News. I was wondering, Mayor, how is this decision, does the decision need to be made by the Police Commission as well, or is this I know last time there was some discussion between the mayor and the Police Commission, so I was wondering how that works.
Well, the Oakland Police Department, when the Oakland Police Department completes an investigation, their policy and practice is to make disciplinary decisions within 30 days. While I could terminate the chief at any time without cause, I said from the outset that we should treat all members of OPD the same, regardless of rank. So I am honoring that policy in setting the same standards for the chief. The 30-day timing elapsed today, and while I had hoped the commission would be able to review the investigation and recommend action, it was not able for them to do so by the deadline. And I have the utmost respect for the civilian oversight process. In the end, I am responsible for making sure we have leadership at OPD that is committed to necessary reforms, can work with the monitoring team, and have credibility before the courts.
The report said that the outside investigators were really concerned about the fact that a lot of the officers have the same attorney, including the chief, had the same attorney as was representing the sergeant at the center of the misconduct, had the same attorney as multiple other officers, including subjects of the investigation and witnesses. Is this something that OPD and the city plans to address? It sounds like a pretty big problem. Is there some plan going forward to undo that kind of situation with conflicting legal counsel?
That is something that the city will be looking into.
Next question.
J.R. Stone with ABC7. Is Oakland a safer place without Chief LeRonne Armstrong? And when will the cycle of police chiefs in the city finally stabilize?
Well, we have Acting Chief Allison, who will continue to be the acting chief for the department. And I do believe that our officers, our fine officers, they come to work and show up every day to ensure that the people, the good people of the city of Oakland and businesses are safe, and they will continue to do that job.
What do you say to the criticism that the federal monitor had a vested interest in this whole process, and that probably, you know, who knows where the leak came from originally, but what's your response?
Well, if you can restate that question, please. Sorry.
What is your response to critics who have said that the federal monitor has a vested interest in getting, you know, bringing this all to light, and the NAACP has been quite outspoken, you know, about keeping the chief?
Well, it is our job here in the city of Oakland to keep the integrity of, you know, investigations that are within the police department. And it is through these investigations that have given us the answers in regards to how we're moving forward in a department. And it is my job, and under this administration, we're going to move forward in a way where we are keeping, that we're going to be working closely with the police commission and the judge and the monitor as well to ensure that we can get out over the federal oversight.
Jaime Omar Yassin, HR News. First, I wanted to confirm that you said the firing was without cause.
Correct.
Okay. What led to that decision? You cited numerous reasons why there would be cause, including commenting in public on the statements he made about the investigation. What led to not firing with him for cause, and does that sort of undermine the rationale for why you released him?
Well, I want to be very clear that this is not a disciplinary action. I have lost confidence in Chief Armstrong to ensure that we move forward and impact the vision for the city of Oakland.
You mentioned some of his comments in public. Is there something about the report's findings? Is there specific detail in the report's findings about Chief Armstrong that you found most concerning?
Well, I looked at the totality of the information that was given to us, including what transpired in those cases, and the failure of both the disciplinary system and the leadership and the commitment to making needed changes. And so I did take a look at the totality of it, including, you know, everything that has been said on record.
Joe Rodriguez, KQED. You know, I understand you said that the 30 days expired, but I do wonder why the timing of just an hour and a half before the police commission's meeting where they're set to discuss this, is this preempting them in some fashion?
Well, I want to be very clear. Again, when the Oakland Police Department completes an investigation, I'll repeat that, their policy and practice is 30 days. And while I, again, could terminate the chief at any time without cause, I said from the outset that I would treat all members of OPD, no matter their rank, the same. And so because of this, I am honoring that policy in setting the same standards for the chief, which is the 30-day lapse today. I had hoped that the commission would be able to review the investigation and recommend action, but they were not able to do that. And so again, I have the utmost respect for the civilian oversight, but in the end, I am responsible for making sure we have leadership at OPD, and that is committed to necessary reforms. And we will continue to work with the police commission to find our next leader in the department. But unfortunately, in regards to this timeline, the commission was not able to make a recommendation in time.
Hi, you said that you lost confidence in the chief. During the course of the investigation, were you able to talk to members of the Oakland Police Department and what they thought about their confidence in their chief? Because it seems like he was pretty wildly popular within the department.
So it is currently an active personnel issue, and so it is. I am not allowed to speak with people around the different personnel issues.
Sorry, Joe again. You know, this has been an issue that has been recurring over the years under different chiefs, the idea of covering up what's going on. What is replacing the chief even the answer? We've replaced the chief before.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, we must move forward in a way where we're going to uphold the standards in the department and as a city. And under this administration, like I stated earlier, we want to treat all officers with the respect, but also treat all officers in regards to how they handle their cases. And more so than that, again, this is not a disciplinary action. The chief does serve at the will of the mayor. And again, I've lost confidence in Chief LeRonne Armstrong.
Is your announcement only related to the chief? Are you, is the administration taking any action? Because there's multiple other officers named in the reports and sustained for various types of misconduct. Are you acting on those findings within the 30 days, or are you leaving that to the police commission tonight?
Well, that's a personnel issue, and it is inappropriate for me to talk on personnel issues or any other disciplinary cases outside of this one.
Could you at least say whether or not will a decision be made on those cases today? Because if it's not 30 days lapsed, then they can't be disciplined, right?
It's a personnel issue. Yes.
What do you say to the Oaklanders out there? I mean, there's been like a revolving door of chiefs. I mean, there's a lot of instability. What are you going to say to people who are now going, well, we have another change in leadership and we're not getting our calls answered? People feel that way, whether it's property crime or violent crime.
Well, I think that, on the contrary, I think it's necessary for us to show that OPD is committed to disciplinary processes that are fair and unbiased. And so there's many fine officers in our department who are doing the work day in and day out. They show up every day to do that work. And so with that being said, we owe them the opportunity to make sure that they are treated the same and as their colleagues in any disciplinary action. And so I know for a fact that our officers will show up, including Acting Chief Allison, will show up to ensure that we are protecting and serving the community.
Speaking to that, is there anything that's going to be done going forward to make sure that it's not just a revolving door every 2 years? Anything differently that hasn't been done in the past?
Well, we're going to make sure that we're going to go work with the police commission, and with the police commission hand in glove, we are going to be searching nationwide for our next police chief. Yes.
In his first conference, Chief Armstrong had said that he doesn't hold you accountable for what he saw as an injustice against him, that he felt like he intimated that you were carrying out the bidding of Robert Warshaw. Could you clarify your communication with Warshaw in terms of coming to this decision?
So those are opinions that I am not aware of, and so I will not be able to speak to them.
Did you personally tell the chief in person that he was fired?
I did not tell the chief in person that he was fired, but we follow the steps in regards to noticing.
How was he notified?
I will leave that up to the legal team. Thank you.
So he didn't know ahead of us?
I will leave that up to the legal team. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, there have been internal and external chiefs of police who have either been fired, left in frustration. There's a lot of process. Do you have any preference, and I'm sorry we already addressed this, for any internal candidate or external as you do your national search?
I'm going to be working with the police commission. That is something that we would have to work on together. And so there has been, the thought of internal, external, well, there's going to be a nationwide search. I do believe that Oakland residents deserves the best, and that's what we're looking for.